Shh. We're drinking beer.
Don't tell anyone.
We're drinking beer at a KOA. Last we spoke, we were about to leave, but we got one more job.
Yeah, I still release the podcast, so the timeline's a little messed up. But basically what happened was we said we were going to leave, and then the day I put out the podcast, Kyle got an offer for a gig, a mural.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, a guy named Oliver with the design company reached out to me to paint a mural in a restaurant that was opening up in Detroit. It ended up being Brome Modern Eatery.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
The client, the owner, his name was Sam, and it's a really cool concept for a restaurant. It's all organic foods, but it's still like comfort American foods, burgers and shakes and that kind of thing, but all super healthy ingredients. So they wanted a bright mural because the upstairs has a juice bar.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
It's gonna be super cool. It overlooks Shelby Street, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then the downstairs is the restaurant, and they want, like, when you walk in, there's a stairwell that goes up to the juice bar, and they wanted something bright and colorful up that wall to kind of draw people up in that direction. And they wanted to kind of play with the theme of the restaurant, so I created this concept with a couple kids playing. There's a girl flying a kite and a young boy planting a seed, because they liked they gave me two phrases, plant the seed and rooted in good, and I was able to put both of those in the mural. But yeah, it was crazy. It came out of nowhere. We were trying to get out of town. We were just about to leave, and that popped up, and it was just too cool of an opportunity to pass up.
Yeah.
So we quoted it, gave him a concept design, and painted it in 3 days or 4 days.
From top to bottom, it was 4 days. From the time that they paid a deposit to the time that you picked up your final check and did a final walkthrough. It was 4 days.
Oh, okay. The fourth day I didn't paint. I just met with the client. Okay. So Tuesday morning I met with the client and just wanted to get a final approval that he was happy with the piece and we could leave town, and luckily he was. He thought everything looked super good. So I packed up all my painting gear, went back to Royal Oak, and Toby and I packed up the bus to finally leave Detroit.
Yep. We decided that our first destination would be Fort Wayne, Indiana, because I had lived there prior to meeting Kyle, and I never really said goodbye to a lot of the people that I love there when I moved. I moved really quick and in a hurry. So I wanted to get a little bit of closure there, but also share what we have spent so much time building with my friends.
Yeah, so we packed up the bus completely and said our goodbyes to Ashley and Isabel and the family, and we had to drop my Volkswagen off with my uncle. Goodbye, Volkswagen.
Babes, we just got a comment on this Facebook post. It says, I just found you here online because I just saw you not even 30 minutes ago on Southfield Road, Allen Park, Michigan. I thought, look at that cute bus. I saw your @ and looked you up. Going to follow. Enjoy your travels.
That's cute. This, like, I swear I know who that is. This couple, like, cruised by in a really nice, like, Q5 Audi or something, and they were like an older couple, and she just smiled. They both kind of looked and smiled at me, and then they slowed down, and they kind of disappeared, and then they passed again, and she's, like, cute. On her phone. So I kind of guessed. Like, I was like, I wonder if they just, like, totally searched.
Oh my god.
And that's awesome that they made a comment. I hope we get a lot of that. That makes me happy. So it was a little rainy to the drive all the way to Fort Wayne, but luckily by the time we got there, it had cleared up, or at least it wasn't raining. It was the evening, so I don't really remember if it was cleared up or not.
Yeah, I don't know if it was cloudy or not, but it didn't really matter.
But we were able to through a couple connections, thank you, Katie Joe, we were able to get some cones. Who was it? The brass rail.
Yeah. So on our way down there, I was talking with Katie, and I had said, I don't know really where we can park this. If you have any ideas, let me know. If not, we'll just park somewhere. And if we get in trouble, we'll move somewhere else. And she said, well, let me talk to a couple people and see if I can find you a spot. And the rail was my bar when I lived down there. I spent a lot of time there. That's where I met up with friends all the time, went to shows, spent Tuesday afternoons writing. I was there all the time, so it had special meaning to me that's where we ended up parking it. And yeah, it was really cool. Corey put out some orange cones for us, so we had special VIP parking, and nobody hassled us. It was really great.
Yeah, it was cool. We pulled up around 8:30 or so, and all of Toby's friends some of them were there waiting, and some showed up just afterwards, but we were able to catch up with all of them and kind of show them all the work we've been doing in Detroit with the bus. And it was just a really nice night. It was good. It was super low key, but it just meant a lot. It was really special to me. And then shout out to Jordan. She said there was a place on her street we could park, and there's this little tiny dead end. So at the end of the night, we went and parked back there and got a good night's sleep. Yeah, thanks, George. That was a lifesaver. And also thank you for the shower. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. In the morning. This morning we had a shower. She gave us almond milk for our coffee. Just quite the hostess. Yeah, so we got a good night's sleep. We woke up and showered and did a little bit of computer work. And then we went to Black Anvil. That's Toby's previous employment. Yep, that's the shop I worked at when I lived in Fort Wayne. So we went to check that out and say hello to the guys, and yeah, it was just it was a treat seeing them. It was great. Those are my dudes. If you're ever cruising through Fort Wayne or anywhere in the vicinity, they're all super solid tattoo artists. Everything I know about tattoos, the tattoo industry, aftercare, etc., is because of them. They're family. I love them. Such a beautiful shop too. Yeah. It's a great environment to get a tattoo. After seeing those guys, we grabbed a coffee at Forteza. Forteza? Yep, that's the name of the place. Right. We wanted to check out a mural that was across the street from there and get a little coffee before we hit the road. Mm-hmm. The mural's at Dash In case anybody cares. It's Pint and Slice, technically, but it's the same building. But since we're kind of in the muralist game these days, we decided to kind of check it out. I had to cruise you past that one. It's a good one. And so we got groceries and hit the road. Yep. We got to say hello to all the people that we wanted to, and got on the road and headed through Ohio to Hocking Hills. Yeah. And we cruised through this little sketch town, and at the end it said like Hocking Hills Riverside Camping. So I followed the sign, and then it looked pretty bizarre. It looked cool. Like the campground seemed cool, nice and spread out, like some cool trees and everything. But it seemed like a little muddy. Like right as I was pulling in, I was like... But it sure looks like we could get stuck in there. Oh no. Think we will? Like, ooh, I don't know. Yeah, that ground seems damp. Yeah. It seems moist, if you will. But I was already slanting on a hill, like starting to slide into the path, so I just decided to go for it. And immediately, Toby and I, we both just started laughing because we both just started sweating and having that, panicky, we just got really warm. Yeah, my face got super hot, like it always does when, something really bad is about to happen. I'm like, oh my God, we're about to get stuck outside this podunk town in Ohio. Right before that happened, my phone switched to no service. So, I don't even know who we would have called if we had service, but there was no phone service. And there was nobody there. There was no one around, and we would have just gotten stuck in the middle of buttfuck Ohio. So basically, we can't push this thing. It has everything we own in it. Right. So what happened was I realized that there was a one-way towards me and a one-way off to the right. So I just assumed that it was a big loop. And I was like, okay, if we stop, we're stuck. So I just kind of hauled ass
Yeah.
through all this mud, and we were maneuvering around this dirt track that was mud in places and dirt, and there was grass on either side, and it seemed like I could just pull into the grass, but when you looked closely, it was like swamp grass.
Yeah, for sure. And then there were trees, like a lot of trees.
Right. There was like no flipping a bitch or looping around or doing anything. It was just like, we're just going to drive until hopefully there's a clear area.
Yeah.
And luckily I could see a tractor up ahead, like a guy on a tractor, and a couple other people that seemed to be doing like maintenance on the property. So it gave me a little bit of relief because I was like, okay, at least there's a tractor around. If we do get stuck, like, odds are this person could help us. And we got all the way down to where they were, and they were not happy that we were cruising because we went down the wrong way. One way.
Yeah.
'Cause it seemed like the path of least resistance.
Yeah, so it's not like, but it wasn't like, oh, do you guys need help? They were just like, you're going the wrong way, and then just like watched us struggle through, like trying to figure out how to like go the right way
after seeing
and not
them,
get stuck.
Right. After seeing them, like, okay, this guy in the tractor hates us.
Yeah, we were like,
He's
he
not
would
gonna
not
help
help. He would absolutely not help if we were in dire straits.
So luckily, thank goodness, at the end, right where they were, there was a bit of gravel. And I stopped the bus and I backed it up a bit and kind of turned it around and got it going again. And we started cruising. I'm like, all right, Toby, like, we're doing this.
Hold on.
Yeah, like, I'm going to haul ass through this. And
it's not like twisty turny too, and like we're in a bus.
the tires slid out, I would say 5 or 6 times, like to a point where I thought we were
doomed.
To
Yeah, I think those dual tires in the back really helped us out. Maybe. I don't know what did it, but...
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
Come on, Agatha.
Come on, Aggie.
You got this, Agatha.
Come on, girl. Get through it.
Come on, Agatha.
Oh, yeah, you did it, girl.
Woo! Let's just keep going up on it to 0.
Luckily.
Yeah, I'm super grateful that we made it out. Because I did not want to have to talk to those guys.
No, I didn't want that to be like our first thing.
Yeah, our first night, pretty much.
Yeah.
Out in the wilderness. It was ugly.